Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Hope you're all doing well today. Got a beer from Brewdog. Brewdog, who pretty much started the whole craft beer movement in the UK. And the beer in particular that really started it was Punk IPA. At least that was the beer that started it for me. That along with Blue Moon from the States. Those two beers, Punk IPA and Blue Moon, were the two beers that started my adventure into craft beer. Over the years, Punk IPA has gone from an outstanding IPA to, at least in my opinion, a kind of a bang average IPA. If I'm honest, I think other breweries have upped their game over the years, caught up and overtaken them. But what Brewdog have done now, they've come out with an amplified version of Punk IPA, and they've called it Double Punk. So Brewdog's Double Punk, coming in at 8.2% ABV. That one. You can get this in Tesco, £3.50 a pop, or you can get packs of 4 for 12 quid. So you save yourself a couple of pound there. So yeah, 8.2% Double Punk from Brewdog. Yeah, standard artwork. Obviously their new style artwork, should I say. But I like what they've done since they've kind of changed the artwork a year or so ago. It says here, the beer that started it all, amplified. I think them saying the beer that started it all is a fair comment. What does it say? Ingredients: water, malted barley, hops and yeast. Brewdog, they don't really bother with flavour text. They don't really bother with much, to be honest with you, and I don't mind that. So yes, an 8.2% Double Punk. I'm sure it's just a double IPA. Lovely aroma. As soon as I crack the can there, to be fair. She's looking good. She's smelling good. Smells great. Do you know what that reminds me of? Punk IPA. That's what that reminds me of. The way Punk IPA used to smell. When I stuck my nose in Punk IPA all them years ago, I was just like, what is going on here? Piney. Tropical fruit, pineapple, grapefruit, passion fruit, mango. It smells lovely, but it's really got a piney, hoppy nose on it as well. Smells absolutely gorgeous. It's hazy as you like, this one. Not seeing much through that. It's got a solid finger of white head that it's maintained. Let me clear my throat, apologies. It looks lovely. It looks lovely. Quite excited about this now. Yeah, I'm going to get stuck in because I'm gasping. It's been my first beer of the weekend, so cheers everyone. Yes. There you go. Oh man, it's got a really quite bitter finish that you think is going to be short, and then it kind of lengths itself out. Get my words out. It lengths itself out. Starts from a kind of a thick bitterness, and then kind of turns into a thin bitterness, just as it kind of goes down the palate, goes down your throat. It's got a long flavour to it. It's really nice. Oh. It's an absolute smasher. It's piney, it's bitter, it's fruity, it's hoppy. It's got a nice mouthfeel to it. It's thin without being watery. Gentle carbonation rush that accompanies that kind of slightly tropical, piney, fruity flavour at the beginning. And it's all about the bitterness at the end. That pininess continues to develop and turns into a quite bitter hoppiness, and it lingers. I say that bitterness, it starts off quite full on, and it gets thinner. It's interesting the way this beer develops on the palate. you get that freshness, you get that like citrusy, tropical fruit, and then the carbonation rush, and then the pininess really develops, rushes up, and then it gets bitter, and it's a full bitterness that really coats the palate. And instead of that flavour staying like that and just gradually fading, what the bitterness does, it kind of thins out and it develops. You'd have to try it to get what I'm saying. Citrus freshness, touch of mango, touch of pineapple, carbonation rush, pininess, pine needle flavour. Big bitter rush now. Full palate covered in bitterness. And then it thins and it almost gives up almost like a dry feeling at the back of the palate. And you're left with just a nice, the whole palate is covered in a nice mixture of that sort of piney citrus flavour at the beginning and that bitterness at the back end. This is a cracking beer. This is a really, really good beer from Brewdog, and I haven't said that for a long time. It's really well balanced. And am I getting the 8.2% ABV? No, I don't think I am. You can tell it's a big beer. But if someone were to sell these as kind of a 6.5%, something like that, going on the beers that are available today, you'd believe them. This is cracking. This really is good. It kind of reminds me of the first time I drank Punk IPA. It just took all my senses on a wild ride. You had that kind of fresh, citrusy, slightly tropical, piney aroma, and you thought, oh, this is going to be quite gentle on the palate. Getting a little bit of yeast on it as well, but it smells good though. It smells good quality. And you get all that on arrival, citrus freshness. And then it develops, carbonation rush comes, and as it dies down, bitterness. Really nice bitter kick. And it lingers, and it develops, thins itself out as it goes down. That is cracking. Really, really enjoying this beer. That's really good. Oh. It's got a lovely balance to it. It's really good. It covers all bases that I personally want in a double IPA. It's a big IPA. But there's no one particular aspect to this beer that overpowers the other. It is bitter. The bitterness is probably the lingering aspect to it, but it doesn't go over the top. It doesn't make you forget about what came before it in terms of that citrus freshness, the pininess, the subtle tropical notes as well. It's a really good beer. That's really good. I like that a lot. That is the best beer I've had from Brewdog in a long, long time. Brewdog Double Punk, 8.2% ABV, £3.50 a can in Tesco. I recommend everyone goes out and grabs that one. That's really, really good. If you ever liked Punk IPA back in the day, and you're one of those people who's kind of fallen out of love with it over the years, I put myself in that category. Go buy that. Go buy that. And enjoy a bit of nostalgia. When Brewdog Punk IPA used to be a belter of a beer, because that's what this reminds me of. Punk IPA when I first tried it back in the day. This is great. That's really, really good. Is it the perfect double punk? Is it the perfect double IPA, should I say? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I like the balance to it. I like the fact that no particular aspect outshines the other. It's balanced beautifully. And I've destroyed it, which is always a good sign. This has restored my faith in Brewdog massively. This is a big moment. That's a big moment for me and Brewdog. They have reminded me they can still brew good beers, and that's an absolute smasher. And I am going to go buy a box of 4. I might even buy 2 boxes of 4. I could session that. I'd get absolutely hammered, but I'd love to session it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm well impressed. I spoke to my good buddy Scott Beer one day. He told me I'd like this one. I wasn't convinced, but now I am. That's a fantastic beer. I love it. I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10. I've really enjoyed that, and that was the perfect beer to start the weekend. So once again, Brewdog's Double Punk, £3.50 a can in Tesco, 8.2% double IPA. Worth the money. Worth the money, and take my word for it. Go get yourself a pack of 4 for 12 quid. Save yourself a couple of pound. It's a cracking beer. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I hope you enjoyed that. Destroyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, guys. Till my next one. You take care.